Ladies and gentlemen, I think you're gonna like this one. Yay! Like this video if you like it. Of course, dislike if you dislike it. And we got Dr. Stephen Greer exposing everything. I hope he exposes everything. Let's see. Roll it.
If you tell the people the truth about this, you will lose all credibility because the truth is much less believable than the fiction we're selling.
They always say that. They always say that, but...
By October 1954, we had mastered what's called gravity control, which most engineers at MIT and elsewhere do not think we can do today. But that was in a deeply classified project. Now,
where you, real quick, where are you at with Dr. Stephen Greer? You believe him? You don't believe him? You believe that some of the stuff that he says is believable, or you think none of it is? It's lies! It's lies! It's lies! Where you are with Dr. Stephen Greer?
How do I know that? Because one of the people on my team, Richard Foch, who is the top scientist at the largest Department of Defense lab, the Naval Research Labs, but was on my team for many, many years. He was in the vault and saw the papers that proved and stated October 1954 is when we mastered gravity control. Ironically, that in 1955, Eisenhower started the U.S. Interstate highway system, and by that date, we didn't need highways. Look, the reason it's being kept so secret is because the technologies behind how those objects move. They have no jets, they have no rockets,
no nukes
not
as
an
well,
internal combustion engine, and they most certainly don't have a nuclear power plant on them because there's no heat signature. And nuclear power fission is hot. When you look at them, you realize it's a whole new physics.
If they really mastered the gravity thing, like all the way back in the 50s, right? We're like, what, 25 to 30 years away from 2050, 2055, right? And it's gonna be a century by then, right? Why hide that? Money? Perhaps control? Greed? Yeah. But still, I mean, I also feel like that if they had like some bigger technology than that, they would have released it. So maybe they don't, or what if they do? And what if they want to hide it or keep it hidden or keep it a secret for themselves? But why though? Why? I guess you can release it and profit. For example, if you were to release this anti-gravity technology or crap like that, then I guess we can have better transportation. And I mean, you guys are definitely gonna charge. You're not gonna be doing charity. For example, if you wanna go somewhere, you have to buy a plane ticket, right? You're paying. You're literally paying. And right now the prices are sky high. So I would like to believe if you're gonna release this technology, then you can profit it this way as well, and perhaps better the planet and have better technology. But I think it's naive to think this is the only reason. I'm well aware of that. There's probably like other reasons as well why they're keeping it hidden. They just don't want to lose control, I guess. And maybe perhaps when they if they were to, or if they are gonna reveal the anti-gravity technology, they're gonna be required to answer more questions are gonna be raised, right? Like, how did you get this, where it came from, why did you keep it a secret for that long? And that would be the question if they were to reveal it, and also reveal it the fact that they made the technology all the way back, or mastered it rather, all the way back in the 1954. So they would have to answer a lot, and there's that aspect to it. And I guess the biggest question would be, how did you get it? Aliens, UFOs, are we alone in the universe? And then you have another rabbit hole, and there's just a lot of other loopholes as well. So
a whole electromagnetic propulsion type system using very high voltage systems, similar to what Nikola Tesla and other people stumbled across in the early 20th century. But I said, if that were to be disclosed, we would terminate oil, gas, coal, nuclear power, wind, solar, you name it, and public utilities. You're talking a huge transformation in how the world operates. Now, on the one hand, it would be disruptive to the status quo of the macroeconomic system. On the other hand, it would end all pollution. It would end all poverty in 20 years. And everyone on the planet would have quote unquote free energy from what's called the 0-point energy field. And we can discuss this later. So he said,
yeah, that's one of the part, because yeah, do you believe that? He's very, very optimistic, and I like that. Of course, people love to hear the fact that there is hope, right? Oh, absolutely, 110%, right? Like, it would be a beautiful thing if you could end poverty and we can get past these problems, these basic problems, because, yeah, yeah, crazy reveal, shocker, right? Like, if you have running water, you are blessed. There are a lot of people that don't have water. Not just running water, but like not even drinkable water. It's not just drinkable water, but no water, right? So there are a lot of people struggling on the planet, absolutely. So if this is true, I hope it's true. I absolutely would love to hear and see this be a reality, but I don't know, man. Snake oil? Does it sound like snake oil salesman type situation, or you think it's real, really real? If it's really real, yeah, I guess the elite don't want to solve those problems, right? Because the problem is poor in the way they make money, rather is in poor people, in the miserable, in the sick people as well. The money is not in perfectly fine, healthy people, and the money is definitely not in people that knows how money works. And if you're wealthy enough, then they cannot, they cannot leash your tongue. You know what I mean. So the way they make money is through all of the other means.
I get it. So,
Control.
It's about power, money, and the corrupting influence of it. It is not about science, because once you drill down to science, the evidence is absolutely overwhelming. When I first started working with all these guys here, they have a type of, I call it disclosure PTSD. It's a traumatic.
Right.
For me, in the 1990s, it was very traumatic to find out about this was absolutely real, that it was being kept secret, that it was out of control, and that there was a compartmented part of it that were already committing atrocities such as staged fake alien abductions and mutilations. Everybody's heard of these. Everybody assumes they're alien. They are not. We have a testimony from Air Force intelligence officer as well as documents that prove that those are being done by humans for their, quote, psychological warfare value. So I think there are two things. One is that they want to keep the energy technologies away. And this is why we did the Lost Century and how to reclaim it, with an expose of what the world has lost through this illegal secrecy and how we need to regain it, and what the world looks like after that, which is gorgeous, beautiful. A totally transformed planet. If we no longer had to have any polluting sources of energy, the energy itself was free once you had the device, the 0-point generator system, and poverty around the world would vanish in a generation, about 20 years. But there's some big stakeholders, right? Hundreds of trillions of dollars at stake. So this is where you get into a real power struggle, which is what
there's just a lot of money involved, man. There's just a lot of money. It's like 1% of the 1% off the 1% that controls the most chunk of money. And it's crazy. Like, I was hearing the statistic, in some third world countries, you're lucky to make like $2 a day. And that is considered very good if you can make $2 a day. Now, I totally understand, like, the currency value is different. Also, in inflation there might be different. Cost of price would be different, but still, man, it's not that different enough to justify. It wouldn't be that different enough to justify a $2 per day being like a reasonable amount to make a day. You feel what I'm saying, right? So there are a lot of people that are making that low, and of course, if you're here in the West, you making $100 a day it can only get you by. That's not enough, right? You feel what I'm saying? You gotta be making a lot more than that, and even if you make a lot more than that, it's like still not enough because of the taxes, the cost of price, the cost of living, gas, food, rent, electricity bills, and bills in general, right? And everything is so expensive. So even if you're, let's just say, making $5,000 a month, not everybody's making, but even if you're making $5,000, it's not enough. Basically, moral of the story here is that middle class is crying. And even if you're rich, you're not crazy rich, right? The crazy rich guys are very few, and those are and they have no worries in the world. I mean, they also got their worry. I mean, they probably have different worries. They don't have the same problems as us, right? But the ultra elite, like the 1% of the 1%, they control everything, though. So they got all the money, and I guess this is why they're keeping it hidden. I mean, makes sense, but I'm not still fully believing it, but I'm open to the idea, and it does logically make sense. I want to know your thoughts for sure.
This issue is. The other part of it is that If you look at sort of the lockdowns and global control that happened, can I be blunt? I know for a fact that was a beta test for what they're wanting to do on this issue. And that is to disclose it in such a way that it manipulates the public into fear so that they can then, through sort of a totalitarian militarism and central state authority, control the whole world, not just one country. As Reagan said, wouldn't our job of creating world unity be easier if we had a common alien threat to fight? So this is why they've spent so much time making, bad Hollywood movies and UFO conferences and staging these ridiculous abductions, which are gruesome, and there are terrible victims of those. But they're not being done by extraterrestrial beings. They're being done by what's called stagecraft, using advanced man-made ET-looking craft, but they're not ET. One of my jobs is to warn the public and these officials of this sort of subterfuge and gaming of the subject, which is completely dishonest. Now, luckily, people like Congressman Burchett and others have said, look, if these civilizations were hostile, we'd be a charcoal floating through space. I mean, it clearly, if you're tens of thousands to a million years more advanced technologically than we are, if they were outright hostile to us, it would just be over. I think, however...
Yeah, totally makes sense. If they were really, really advanced, what advanced? In what way you're describing this? Because advanced could be like, okay, aircrafts. I think their aircrafts are definitely advanced, but like advanced in terms of weaponry, perhaps. Yeah, right. Because they're maybe they are advanced in UFOs and flying around, absolutely. But like they might not be as advanced as us in some other aspects, right? I would like to believe that in some ways we're more advanced than them, and in some ways they are definitely more advanced than us. It couldn't be. I refuse to believe that they're advanced in everything, or perhaps they are, But I would like to believe that in some ways we're definitely different and unique, or maybe not.
Things get misconstrued. Let's take, for example, all the nuclear silo cases. Well, it turns out these ET craft, the real ones, are concerned about those systems because if they were launched in a war, it would destroy life on Earth, and they view life on Earth as a very special place. Secondly, when you detonate a thermonuclear weapon, it puts out not only a electromagnetic pulse everybody knows about, it puts out what Tesla described as a scalar signal. And the scalar is faster than the speed of conventional light for electromagnetic propagation, because it's a point that goes out in a line as opposed to a wave like normal light that we're seeing. So those disrupt extraterrestrial communications and travel. So the reason you saw those craft that crashed near Roswell was because that was the only atomic bomb squadron in the world in 1947, 509th Army Air Base, Walker Field.
Crazy.
I would not share things except I can back it up, which is why I gave the House Oversight Committee, the Senate Intelligence Committee, the Pentagon, the White House, the hard drive with terabytes of this data on it, including the witness testimonies, where all the facilities are, images of what the ET craft looked like we down.
Okay, that's cool that you gave them terabytes, but can a brother perhaps get just a couple of kilobytes of data? I'm just saying, okay, no, kilobytes, that would be like very, very low. Like, come on, what are we talking? A couple of megabytes perhaps? Okay, 2 gigs? Okay, let's make a temporary truce. 2 gigabytes. Can a brother get 2 gigabytes of data? Like the video, let's go for 2 likes if you actually agree. And real quick, before we get down to the climax, guys, real quick, I want to say check out the top pinned comment for the link tree. Here you can find all my YouTube channels, my Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch. This is a secret link. I won't say what it is, but I guess you can check it out, and that's a tease for you. All right, let's get back to the content now, boo-boo.
What the bodies look like from the description of first-hand military witnesses who handled them with a forensic artist drawing it. We provided all this. So I think at this point, anyone who would have a cursory glance through that data would go, my God. Now, yes, I will say, I was warned in 1991 by an intelligence officer. He said, if you tell the people the truth about this, you will lose all credibility because the truth is much less believable than the fiction we're selling. That is a real catch-22. Do you tell the truth and lose credibility? Or do you tell some kindergarten version of the truth to placate people? I am not doing the latter. But it's controversial. I'll admit it's extremely controversial. But I mean, at my stage of life, I have 12 grandchildren. I'm 68 years old. I'm not someone who feels like I need to pitter-patter around the tulip garden, right? What our goal is that enough is put in place in the next 6 to 12 months that the actual ET bodies, craft, and man-made assets are first acquired and shown to the members of Congress and White House, and then to the world's public. And I think it's achievable in the next year or so. If
Okay, is he talking about the Congress meetings that are happening with David Grush? I mean, they happen. I'm not even sure. I'm not even aware if there's gonna be another one or not. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't heard. Maybe they said that there was gonna be. I suppose, perhaps there's gotta be, right? Like another one. They need to. And yeah, David Grush was saying after the Congress meeting is over. That was a while ago, by the way. After the meeting is over, I can share evidence. And what he meant truly was, I guess we don't know, but I suppose he meant like pictures, as in like pictures of the ET, I guess, or the crafts, and perhaps he really did show to the congressman or congresswoman at that point when that meeting was happening. But we were, of course we were not shown. Of course we were not shown. So what he's saying here is that within 6 months to a year, right, it's shown to them and shown to the public. It's possible. Doesn't mean that it's gonna happen, but it's certainly possible. I mean, I hope. I really want to see it for sure. Absolutely.
we aren't diverted.
I just got a report from Chile last night that multiple of these small creatures have been seen live and living in these foothills of the Andes in the Atacama region.
Okay, this is like the past video. He just looped it. Alright, guys, check out this video on the screen. This is the last episode that we've done with Stephen Greer. I think you're gonna like this. We have a series going on with Stephen Greer and also Joe Rogan. I'll link you this last video that we've done for Dr. Stephen Greer, and on the left we got the series with Joe Rogan as well. I think you're gonna like both of these. Check it out, and I'll see you right there.